Hello, what are you doing? Wait, no! Don't. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the only books that I have given 5 stars to. Part 1. If I'm being honest, although I still am kind of picky and choosy with what books I give 5 stars to, this is part 1 because I've read a lot of books and that means I've given quite a few 5 stars, not a lot, but enough. Okay, book number 1, and I don't want to hear any criticisms about this book. Say what you want about the movie, I don't care. But the book, no. Twilight. Literally, hands down, one of my absolute favorite books. I read it when I was younger, probably too young, who cares? I honestly think it made me fall in love with reading. I've always loved to read, but this made me like fall in love with reading. It is so good. Okay, I'm gonna read you the first page because it hooks you and you just want to read more. So it says, I'd never given much thought to how I would die, though I'd had reason enough in the last few months, but even if I had, I would not have imagined it like this. Doesn't that sound so good? And then it just gets better. Like, it just gets so good. Side note, I'm terrible at explaining things, but if you've never heard of Twilight, which I don't know many people who haven't heard of it, but basically it's about Bella and she's a human and she moves to Forks and she meets Edward in high school and he's a vampire. And I mean, yeah, the story continues. That's the best explanation that I can give without spoiling anything, but it's so good. Book number 2 is The Kiss Quotient, which I put off reading for years and years and years, and I finally listened to it as an audiobook in December. Hands down one of my all-time favorites, and then I bought the physical copy a couple months ago just because I needed it on my shelf. The characters, the storyline, the plot, the romance, everything is perfection. So the story follows Stella and Michael. So Stella has Asperger's, and I quote, the thought of French kissing reminds her of a shark getting its teeth cleaned off by a pilot fish. So she comes to the conclusion that she needs someone to help her with intimacy and dating and kissing and stuff like that, so she hires Michael, who is an escort. This book was everything. It was cute and adorable and funny and sad, and there's 2 more books in the series. There is The Bride Test and The Heart Principle. Loved this one so much. And then The Heart Principle was good. It was, but it was really heavy and I wasn't expecting that, and I don't love like heavy books like that, but still love the whole series. Okay, we're going back to fantasy with A Discovery of Witches, one of my all-time favorite books ever. Like, ever. I read this a couple months ago and it was a masterpiece. It was everything I want in a book. So our book follows Diana Bishop. She is a witch, but she doesn't really want to be. She wants nothing to do with magic or sorcery or anything like that. And she goes to the library one day because she's doing research and she calls up this one book, and apparently this book has been missing for centuries. No one has seen it and it's bewitched, so some stuff happens and she sends it right back to the shelves immediately because she doesn't like magic. But the fact that she was able to call it up considering that no one has seen it kind of stirs things up in the underworld. And then she meets Matthew, who is a vampire, and they create an alliance and that blooms into something more. But them being together stirs up this old rule that says that witches and vampires can't be together, so there we have our forbidden love, and it's written so perfectly. There's also a TV show for this, which I watched first, not gonna lie, and then I read the book, but the book is so much better. And there's also 2 more books in the series, which I have not read yet, but I want to so badly. Next book is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. It is a young adult fantasy book with a little splash of romance. I have to read romance in every book that I read. It's necessary. And this book was a masterpiece. It is so unique and special, and I've never read anything like it before. Like, I want to try and do a summary here, but I can't even find the words to sum it up. There's 6 kids and they try to pull off a heist, so there's 6 perspectives in the book, which I usually don't love. It was so good. Like, it made this book, it was so cool. That's honestly one of the best words to describe this book. It's so cool how they plan and attempt this heist. I loved it. Okay, next we have Neon Gods by Katie Robert. Again, I know these are all my favorites, but this was so unique. It is a Greek gods retelling, which I love. I love Percy Jackson and all that stuff. I'm gonna read you the back. He was supposed to be a myth, but from the moment I crossed the river and fell under his dark spell, he was quite simply mine. I mean, does it get any better than that? That was from Persephone's point of view, by the way. So basically, Persephone's mom ambushes Persephone with an engagement to Zeus, which she obviously doesn't want to do, so she flees to the underworld, the Undercity. I don't really know what it's called. Undercity, I was right the first time. So she flees to the Undercity and meets Hades, which no one knew existed. He was kind of a myth. And then the story unfolds from there, and it just gets better and better and better. Next is the Mindfuck series, and it is hands down one of the best series of my entire life. You don't read a lot of series where every single book is that good, but in this series it is. So the story follows Lana, and she is killing and torturing a bunch of men who wronged her in the past, and I mean like really, really wronged her. Look up trigger warnings because it is quite dark. Anyways, she's good. And then she meets Logan, who is an FBI agent who is literally investigating her killings, but obviously doesn't know that she's the one killing all the men. There's 5 books in the series, but they are quite short. I think they're only 130, maybe 150 pages long. You literally can finish it an entire day. I did it in 24 hours. It was that good and that addicting. Next we have our classic book talk, bookstagram, and booktube book, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm sure you've seen this book everywhere, and it is honestly, in my opinion, worth the hype. I honestly don't know what to say about this book because it is the second book in the series, and anything I say about this book will spoil what's in the first book, so just go read the series. The first one, not my favorite, but still very good. It kind of starts out like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but then it gets so much better. So good. Now we have the Throne of Glass series. Hands down, one of my favorite series, even before the Mindfuck series. This one's my all-time favorite series. I adore it. But I did read it 5 years ago, and I don't remember much. I haven't actually finished the series either. I haven't read the last book because it's like 1,000 pages, and I don't know how many people have time for that. I will read it one day. But each book is so similar, but so different in so many ways, and it just gets better. Heir of Fire, the third one, is my absolute favorite. If you read it, you know why. Moral of the story, if you love epic fantasy with a little splash of romance here and there, you have to read the series. You have to read the series. It's always going to have a special place in my heart, regardless of whether or not I remember what actually happened in the series. And that is all the books I have for you guys today. I hope you read some of them because they are truly life-changing books. I adore every single one of them. If you're still watching this point, comment your favorite book because I'm always looking for new books to read, even though I don't really need any more books. So yeah, see you guys next time.